Natsuki was like clutching John Lennon's favourite ice cream while he himself was somebody was clutching a phone with a cat named after him. It was like the power of fame and celebrity.
Yeah.
Somebody out there's named their gerbil Pete Dalton, so you know it's happened.
Wow.
Hello and welcome to the Abroad Japan podcast, probably the best way of learning about life in Japan without actually being in Japan. I'm your host Chris Broad, and we're joined as always by England's top Japan enthusiast, Mr. Pete Dawson. Pete, it's been a while. How the hell are you doing?
It has been a while, Mr. Chris Broad. I hope you enjoyed your shows with Ryotaro. I hope you enjoyed your bolt hole in, I'm going to say it, Sendai, in a hotel room, writing your book for about like a million weeks. And I've also enjoyed a holiday to Mallorca, where I spent a lot of time drinking lovely cocktails every day on a lounger while my daughter splashed around in the pool.
Lovely.
I basically, when I go away, my daughter has more dads to look after her. Last time I went to Cornwall, a member of Boyzone, she sort of befriended his daughter, and now this time round, she befriended Graham Souness's daughter, her kid. And also a quite well-known house DJ, which is so.
Oh wow!
It just she
Fat
just
Boy
basically
Slim.
It was Fat Boy Slim. It was a house DJ, very nice bloke. But he basically became her dad for like about 3 or 4 days. She just befriends other dads, and it really takes the pressure off me, and I can spend more time drinking dirty martinis by the pool.
While I'm locked away in a fucking hotel room, going literally insane, staring at a wall, going, "What did I do? Almori, 2015. What was it?" Going back through my memories, going back through old videos, trying to drum up like memories from the depths of my mind. You're drinking margaritas on a beach and hanging out with rock stars and musicians and legends. Your luxurious Mallorcan fucking holiday. I hate you. But I hope you had a good time.
I did have a very, very good time, but it was just sort of nice to sort of relax and again drink the martinis and also just catch up on a bit of telly. I don't get to watch much telly day to day. I started watching that TV show, The Studio, about everything.
Oh, I haven't watched that yet.
The Studio, yeah. It's it really does. I know it's ironic, and I know it's kind of a pastiche, but it really does make you remember that Hollywood is scum. Just kind of, you go, oh yeah. I know this is supposed to be a joke, but I mean they are horrible. They're a horrible lot, aren't they?
Yeah. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. I mean, I've spoken to you and a few other friends who worked in the industry of interviewing celebrities, and, you know, there's always horror stories you hear behind the scenes that then eventually become public anyway, because when you are a dick, it does eventually get out, right? You know, it gets out there, so, you know. But no, I haven't watched it. I'm considering rewatching Succession. I watched Alien Earth recently.
Right.
Watched Andor. What was the other show I watched? There's been quite a lot of good TV this year, actually. It's been a strong year so far.
It sounds like you're on a bit of a sci-fi kick, Chris. Are you yearning for an AI-powered tomorrow? Is that what
I'm
this
ready
is all
to
about?
ride into space on Elon Musk's magic rocket. I'm going to go to Mars and start a new civilization where all we eat is chicken and all we drink is Bakari sweat. And the entire...
There'll be at some point... I mean, let's make it very clear. He'll run out of money before... He just has to before he gets to Mars, because he seems to make strange ketamine-infused decisions. But I would say that...
Got $500 billion. $500 billion this week.
I just if you're messing up Tesla at this point... I was on the holiday, I was... you could hire... Well, not really hire, they sort of gave you it. A Tesla for the day. And I was like, you know what? This is a bloody nice car. It's a shame that everybody hates them. Acceleration on this is amazing. Much better than my V12 25-year-old monstrosity at home.
It's strange to live in a sort of reality, though, where you can have people that have like $500 billion, you know, like the entire wealth of most countries on Earth under your supervision. That sounds really way of putting it. But, you know, what would you do with £500 billion? Where would you spend it?
I mean, it's always... It's
Import
never...
all the cars?
Never liquid, though, is
Import
it?
all the Sentry?
It's never... It's never. I'd get myself a new one. You know what? I'd get myself a new car. I think that with like they always sort of say, "Oh, he's worth this amount. He's worth this amount," but like it's never. You can't liquidate that stuff. You would ruin the economy if you liquidate all those assets immediately. So I reckon he's probably only got 20 quid to his name, 2 shillings to rub together. I reckon he could probably push the boat out on a pret-a-manger 3-course lunch.
Top economist Pete Donaldson speaks again. But the book is actually done, though. I handed in the first draft.
Oh,
I'm a free man for a bit.
Chris.
Yeah, it's good, eh?
How many words were we looking at? How many pages? How many were you constantly clicking word count on Microsoft Word?
I did for the first few days of writing. It clocked in a lot longer than I thought, actually. It was like 400 pages, which is probably too long.
Right.
And it'd be really interesting to see what feedback I get. It might be like, yeah, just cut the book in half. And I'll be like, what? So I really don't know what to expect. But the first draft's done. With anything in life, the first draft is always the hard bit, whether it's a video, a book, whatever. And the second pass-through is a lot quicker,
yeah.
you know. So, it's a way off. And I've just got back from a 3 to 4 day hike with Natsuki down the Nakasendo, the beautiful old route that used to go from Kyoto to Tokyo alongside 69 post towns. 69. But it was a really cool expedition. It was just Natsuki and I. Usually we bring Ian or Paul the cameraman or a whole squad to support us. But this time it was just Natsuki and I because I wanted that sort of personal, one-on-one, special connection. And also all the hotel rooms are full and I can book more than one.
Couldn't get one more.
So it meant I had to carry 10 kilograms of fucking camera equipment up 3 mountains. We ascended 3 separate 500-metre mountains along the way. But it was really magical. It was really magical. We slept in a tent. We stayed in a top ryokan. We swam in a stream. It was really good, man. I think it's going to be a really great video. But
could you not have Nakasendo'd the equipment by mail?
You can do that. Yeah. We did think about that. You could do that. Oh, I see what you did. The Nakasendo. I'm late.
As that Mitch Hedberg joke said, I'm not going to chase my dreams. I'm just going to find out where it's going, and I'll meet him there later. It's something like that. I'm just going to find out where my camera equipment goes and meet it there later.
It does feel like cheating a bit. I kind of get it though. If you've got your luggage, if you're on your inaugural 2-week trip to Japan, you've got your luggage. Obviously, you can't drag it up a mountain. So it's kind of cool. You check in somewhere like Sumago or Magome, one of the villages. And they forward all your luggage to the end destination, which is pretty cool. I did toy with it, but it didn't make any sense. And my back though.
Could you not just get inflate a Zorb? Just have a massive Zorb with all your stuff in that you sort of push like a dung beetle down the Nakasendo Trail.
Should have just done it in a blimp. Just floated down through the valleys.
When you have these sort of experiences where it's just you, Natsuki, and half of big camera on your back, is it kind of does that kind of take you back a little bit to how it was before, how you were before the
simple
success, before the big productions?
It does a bit, yeah. I think there is such a thing as having too much production quality. It becomes like the essence of what makes YouTube great is you feel that sort of closeness with the viewer because it's just you, camera, and viewer. And I think when you have high production values, it does sort of make that gap bigger. And so you lose some of the magic. So, yeah, I genuinely do think this will be a really cool video to watch back. And as a viewer, you'll feel like you're the third person on this trip with Natsuki and I. And my favourite bit was there's been a lot of bear attacks this year. I know we love bears on the Abroad in Japan podcast, but it's been genuinely quite grim. Every autumn, before the bears go to sleep for a few months, they go out and they eat things and people. They seem to be attacking people en masse. And not far from where we were going, in Shirakawa-go, there was a bear attack and they sort of cordoned off a chunk of Shirakawa-go, the beautiful place with the thatched roofs. And then somebody in Miyagi actually got their head decapitated, not far from Zendai.
Yeah.
And this was a daily occurrence in the news. And so Natsuki and I were sort of on edge because for 2 of the 3 days we were in very remote sections and we ran into maybe 6 or 7 hikers over the course of 3 or 4 hours, right? And I had a bear spray deep in my backpack, which, to be fair, would have been fucking useless if a bear had sprung out. I'd have been like, oh, and it would have been a catastrophe. Natsuki, however, I was like, make sure you bring like a bear bell, Natsuki. Make sure you bring a bell so we can let the bears know we're coming.
I will flick a cigarette at it.
Better than that.
At bear.
He brought at one point. He withdrew his hand from his backpack with a fistful of firecrackers, literal, like explosive firecrackers.
So
that
you'd have
you
to
light
light those
and
and throw. Well, to be fair, he's always got a tab on. It wouldn't take very long to kind of get it lit. But wow,
well, I was more worried about Natsuki being a walking plastic explosive as opposed to the bears. One wrong cigarette and the whole backpack blows up, takes out half the forest.
Where do you even get those from? Do you know what I mean? Like, he lives in the.
I don't know.
He's Bart Simpson. Natsuki is Bart Simpson.
I don't know where he got them.
Catapult and some cherry bombs. He's just.
Well, he also brought party poppers, and he was like, "Happy birthday, bear!" He would just fire them.
Not loud enough. Poppers. Not loud enough. Not scary enough. Surely. Oh dear.
Well, I talked him down.
They're just gonna have to let you just carry revolvers around. That's just the way it's gonna be, really.
Machine guns. I told him, like, I was like, you can't use these firecrackers. We can't burn the forest down to prevent us from being attacked by bears. This isn't going to play well on YouTube. So the firecrackers were never used, but he did use the birthday poppers a few times, and that was utterly surreal, just being in the middle of nowhere in a forest, just the sound of a stream in the wind and breeze on the wind, and then just pop. Woo! Like,
can you not just scream? Like, can you just scream when you turn around? Or would that attract them? Yeah.
I started whistling because I was like, I was just doing like singing and whistling,
right? Just
because they attack when they're startled, so I was like, let's make sure that doesn't happen. But
well, Chris, this sounds like a horrific
trippy.
trip anyway. Carrying a load of heavy lenses, expensive lenses, worried about bears at every turn. Oh God,
it's not good.
You should go on holiday, mate. You should try going on holiday.
That certainly wasn't a holiday. Oh dear. But no, with the firecrackers, I'm wary of being a nuisance YouTuber or just a nuisance Japanese man in Natsuki's case.
Yeah.
There's the sort of the Meiwaku nuisance people are still everywhere. There was like a news story the other day that I saw of a Ukrainian YouTuber, a streamer, who broke into a house in Fukushima in the exclusion zone and just like streamed having like some chocolate or something just sitting in someone's house, which is obviously illegal and not great because you're not allowed the exclusion zone as it is, really, certain bits of it still, let alone breaking into someone's house. Those are still people's houses, and those that were evacuated often return to sort of tend to their homes every now and then. And I don't know if I covered it with Ryotaro, but we had the new lady who's been elected to become like the Prime Minister, Sanae Takaichi. She was like, rather than give a speech about hope, she was like, foreigners are kicking deer, blah, 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 doing bad things. So it's sort of being seized, all these, people doing terrible things. I don't really know what angle she could have attacked from, Japanese people setting off firecrackers in a forest. That's keeping collateral damage.
Very much the sort of the populist playbook. But I think on the BBC, the main point, I think, on Sanae Takaichi's ascension to the top job, it was just basically she's a massive fan of Margaret Thatcher. That's all you get. Just obsessed. We're still obsessed with the 80s. We're still obsessed with the Falklands. We're still obsessed with Thatcher Milk Snatcher. So it's.
I think Takaichi should deploy a detachment of Japanese soldiers to the Falkland Islands. Just
sort it all out.
Margaret Thatcher's dream lives on.
I was reading about the old Falkland Islands. Apparently, even though we fought a war, people of my dad's kind of vintage. My dad left the Navy right before the Falklands War, and because he still had that kind of naval kind of brain about him, he was like, you've got to sign up again. He was like, go get those Falklands back, and he said, and about 3 months later he was like, what was I thinking? I think I'd gone mad. I think I'd been coded into a naval kind of way of thinking. But it was a big deal, the Falklands War back in the day. I don't really remember it, but it was. And I can't move to the Falklands. You've got to have You've got to have
Oh,
proper
really?
skill. Yeah, I can't move to the Falklands, even though it's a British territory, overseas territory. I can't sort of go, suddenly I want to live in the Falklands. They're very protective about who can enter, who can go into the Falkland Islands and live there. And I think that's really bloody rude, quite frankly.
I think you'd be quite annoying. You would be quite annoying, though. The locals don't deserve that. You stumbling around, driving around your Toyota Century, terrorising the locals.
You're waiting for it to arrive on a 3-week
What's that coming
journey.
around the corner?
Yeah, I just think it's naughty. Like, we fought a war over that, and I
You
can't
didn't fight
move
the
there.
war.
I know I didn't, but my dad almost did.
Is that what you're going to say when you get to immigration? My dad almost fought there. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't know that. That's quite interesting. I know it costs like 150 million quid a year to like support the military down there and whatnot. But
Right, okay.
yeah, let's go to the Falklands.
Let's
Wacky
go
weekend.
Falklands. We could be the first Falklands British Falklands YouTubers.
Oh god! But before that, we got a story from Tom, and it begins: Hello, Chris and Pete. I'm travelling around the Falklands for 3 weeks. Sorry, Japan for 3 weeks. It's my third trip here, but it's my first time travelling solo anywhere. Which reminds me, a little segue. While I was walking down the Nakasendo with Natsuki, we ran into a solo traveller, a girl. What was her name? Antonia, girl from Germany. Nice girl, and she was like, "Oh, nice to meet you, Chris." And then she was like, "Oh my God, it's Natsuki. My cat is named after Natsuki." And she pulled out her cat. I was like, Natsuki the cat, and the Natsuki the man that inspired the name. It's quite a beautiful moment. It was really good. And there you go.
That is
That's a
lovely
little segue.
because my dog is named after the footballer Sammy Amiobi, who is I think he's out of work at the moment. He's of an age where he should really be still playing football, but he's out of work at the moment, and I think he's a bit down on his luck. I think he had a hit and run incident quite recently. Anyway,
no.
so I feel like if I saw Sammy Amiobi in the street and said, "Hey, Mr. Amiobi, my dog is named after you," I think that would be treated with the disrespect that he probably would take. I think he'd take it as disrespectful. That's all.
Well, Natsuki took it very well. We're on the Nakasena, there's this, in the town of Narayajuku, there's ice cream, and it's like John Lennon's favourite ice cream. And they fucking plaster this all over the shop. Because apparently John Lennon made an off-the-hand remark once, like, "Oh, this ice cream is good." And the ice cream company ran with it for 50 years. And so it was like Natsuki was like clutching John Lennon's favourite ice cream while he himself was somebody was clutching a phone with a cat named after him. It was like the power of fame and celebrity. You know. And somebody out there's named their gerbil Pete Dalton. So, you know it's happened. Anyway, last night I had a can of Strong Zero, oh my god, in Shintenchi Park in Hiroshima. I was halfway through it when a middle-aged Japanese lady came over and asked me to pick a card from a pack she'd splayed out in her hand. Oh my goodness, this is terrifying. I picked number 14, and she told me that 14 meant that I had good balance and circulation. Given I've got flat feet, and by then a couple Strong Zeros inside me, she'd missed the mark on the balance front, and I'd been suffering from a tight chest and a dodgy stomach, so she was no better on the circulation either. She then decided...
Tom, you sound like a wreck, but you're having a good time.
This is
good
a
on
story
you.
and a half. She then decided that I should have also the number 7 card, which is lucky, and 8, which is yin-yang. I didn't understand. Oh, it's a fucking story. I didn't pick those cards. She just said that I should have them too. I was maybe a bit cold with her because I'm sure I've heard Chris talk about cults a few times. Anyway, she gifted me the cards and ran back to her seat somewhere round the corner out of my view. A few minutes later, she returned with... Oh, my goodness. She returned with a crow in a mesh cage and thrust it into my face, saying, "It's a lucky crow, like you, lucky crow."
I love when Chris hasn't read the stories. It's like
I don't read the stories. I come in blind.
Proper blind. Proper like, oh, this is charming. Oh, a crow has arrived.
Normal. This is not normal. She then said she had saved the crow because it had an injured leg, and that meant it was good. It was a good omen. She then scurried off again, thankfully taking the crow with her. I probably should have stayed, but in the moment I thought that between her first and second visits, things had definitely ramped up, and I couldn't predict what she'd do on the third visit. Come round the corner riding a fucking dragon.
Crackers.
I dashed out of there while she presumably fed her crow a biscuit and plotted her next gambit. How do you get sufficient fruit and vegetables in your diet while travelling around Japan? What the fuck is this question? What is this?
Tom, I think you've become lightheaded by the strong zeros and the poor circulation. He's just absolutely lost his mind.
This is ridiculous. I had a bad stomach, and everything you eat as a tourist seems to be fried protein and crabs. Oh, sorry, carbs.
Yeah.
If you had to pick one.
There's three. Imagine if you're like a fitness influencer. There's three food groups: fried, protein, and crab. Just eating crab
The
constantly.
big three. Oh, fuck me.
You're going back to your like the leanest you've ever been, going back to your personal trainer, and you're going, you told me to eat all the crabs. It's like, it was a misspelling in an email. It said
Oh, my
carb.
God.
You have to eat carbs.
Oh, ridiculous story. And they're all the best, Tom. There you go. That's one of the best stories we've ever had, I think.
Brilliant.
I can remember.
Yeah, get some Tom. I hope those crabs are
I would have walked
delicious.
around with a crow in a cage and just be like, this crow's good luck. Did you know that? And just terrorise people.
Very goth vibes, has to be said. I'm into it. It's very goth, isn't it? Just carrying a living crow around in a cage.
Oh, God.
Oh, dear. Goodness.
There you go, though. I mean, Tom did leave another question. If you had to pick one Japanese restaurant food to survive on, what would it be? If you're in Japan, or in Tokyo rather, Crisp Salad Works is good. It's just salad. Overpriced salad a bit. But
Right,
salad
okay.
nonetheless. It's probably better for you than Yoshinoya or crabs. But we have a story this week.
Is it kind of like, is crisp salad kind of just like one of the salad places where, is it like British salad, unfun, way too many pomegranate seeds and bits of sweepings, or is it like the delicious American ones that have loads of ranch? Ranch.
It is like the
best
delicious American ones,
invention.
yeah.
Yeah, nice, good. Yeah, well, fine, absolutely fine.
It's like that, but imagine 3 times the price. They're in like sort of pretentious upmarket areas like Daikanyama and Ebisu and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
You're paying like 3,000 yen for like a bit of lettuce. It's not, but it's good. It's healthy. You just get the credit card ready. Better than crows and crabs. But what's going on in the news this week? Get me out of here. Also, my voice seems to be going. That story has done something to my voice, so I apologise if it sounds like my voice is breaking. That story pushed me to my limits, my storytelling abilities. Ridiculous story. What's going on though, Pete? Fill us in.
Well, I don't know, because I've avoided the news, Chris. Haha. Yes, in Japan, a new national survey has revealed that a surprisingly large number of people are just actively avoiding the news. Not because they're too busy, because they say that it makes them feel emotionally drained, which is, I kind of get it in these torturous times. I kind of understand why that would be a pain. According to a major news study by Smart News, which gathered data from nearly 5,000 Japanese people, nearly 1 in 5 Japanese adults of the 5,000 taken say they frequently or sometimes stay clear of the news on purpose. And if you include people who avoid it occasionally, that figure jumps to almost half the population. It apparently just puts people in a bad mood. More than 60% of those who avoid the news say that it makes them feel down, anxious, or emotionally heavy. Other top reasons include seeing too many sensational headlines, too much crime reporting, or being bombarded with content they simply don't care about. I mean, you have to sort of think that it's kind of... you kind of have to think that it's probably a lot to do with a lot of the news not being relevant as well, and just it's just that I start the day every morning and I have a good read and I'll listen to my YouTubes and stuff, and I don't think I should start the day like that, because it's really, really depressing. It's horrible. Horrible to
It
deal
is
with.
bad. No, I'm as guilty. I'll flick through the news. It's never good. It's like something awful's happened somewhere times 3. The world's getting worse. The economy's going down the pan. Rich people are getting richer. Everyone else is stuffed. AI is going to steal everyone's jobs. It's been, in my memory, it's been the worst year on record for news in general, I'd say. It's been grim, and I'll admit I have tried to avoid the news where possible. I long since deleted the Twitter app because that's just the worst. But we see this on. Unfortunately, humans sort of gravitate towards negative sort of topics, right?
Yeah, that's what makes
like
you money. That's why there's so many sort of doomy kind of.
It's true,
on
yeah.
the right side of things, grifters who just basically say everything's shit and getting shitter, and I am your saviour. Can I have some money, please?
Well, I mean, and we're just as guilty of this as anyone. I certainly am on YouTube. My most successful video is called "What Not to Do in Japan." It's a inherently negative title. It's not like what to do to have a great trip, because nobody would click on that. that you have to sort of attack these topics from a negative angle, unfortunately. And I think the mainstream media takes that to the extreme. But it is just sort of a grim time to live through to some extent. So I'm trying to be happy. And I think going through the mountains with Natsuki for 3 days, more or less not looking at my phone.
Yeah.
Although glued to the firecrackers in his hand, wondering if I was going to get blown up. I was glued to the bears.
Imagine if you're reading some depressing news story as you're getting munched on by a bear. So, I wish
That's
I
the worst
wish I
way
paid
to go.
attention now. Yeah,
The worst way to go, isn't it?
Argentina's economy is in the toilet. Even without that bailout. Oh, ow!
Getting eaten by a
chewing my
bear.
arm.
Glued to a fucking article about wealth inequality. That'd be the worst way to go. It's shit. It's a shit time. That's why we need comedy and humour and funny stories with crows now more than ever. And I can't blame people. And I think in Japan that there's that saying, isn't there? Shogunai, like it can't be helped. I think people in Japan have a very fatalistic attitude towards things because they've sort of had to in a country where out of nothing, out of nowhere, an earthquake can come and obliterate your city, your home, your livelihood, or a tsunami, or a volcano. There is definitely a sort of fatalistic attitude in Japan where people feel like they can't really make a change, so it's just best to maybe not look at the news. So I sort of get why 18% of Japanese people have a news avoidance tendency, to some extent. Can't blame them.
No, can't blame them. Yeah.
Watch the Brawn Japan podcast instead. Get your news from us. Give you all the highlights and more.
A week late, many about YouTubers being dickheads.
We'll be 3 to 5 days late, and it's great. It's great.
Better than CNN. Better than MSNBC.
Of course it is.
Certainly more viewers.
I'll tell you what CNN doesn't have: a fax machine. We'll be right back in a moment, guys, with your stories, comments, and questions.
Wow.
And we're back with the fax machine. What do we got this week from our listeners? Mr. Dawson, fill us in, please.
Oh, literally fill us in, because this email comes from a man called Phil. Dear Carroty Chris and Peachy Pete, we're used to strong regional accents in the UK. No, we're not. I'm joking. I've got a regional accent. And I
have to watch Pete Dawson with
of,
subtitles, so I don't know
you
what
do,
you're saying
yeah.
most of the time.
You've had a degree in, you've had JLPT, but it's Pete Donaldson. And I have personal experience of regional accents in Korea, where I used to live and where I picked up some Korean language. I speak Korean with a very strong Gyeongsangnam-do accent. But how much regional variation is there in the accents of native Japanese speakers? Does Chris speak Japanese with a Yamagata accent? And might this be the reason why I don't recognise a lot of Japanese words and places he mentions? Regards, Phil. They do have regional accents, don't they, Christopher? They do.
They do, yeah. I've never done a very good job learning them. I know Yamagata does, and like there's a word like mokidana, which means like thank you or something in Yamagata that doesn't exist anywhere else. And a lot of people in Sakata, for example, end sentences with mda or something like that.
Mda.
For emphasis, the masculine emphasis and whatnot. But I tend to find it's more to do with age than anything. For example, Natsuki himself, though, he speaks with a Tokyo dialect, even though he lives in Yamagata. And I think you find most people on this side of Japan generally have a Tokyo dialect, and then there's the Osaka, Kansai, Ben dialect as well. But I think age is a big factor. The people I understand the least are usually people over 60. That have sort of words and mannerisms that are harder to pin down and know what's going on. But I've never done a very good job learning about sort of local dialects, unfortunately.
You can sort of tell. The only one I can sort of tell is the Osaka one that sounds a little bit bouncy. It sort of bounces like an Italian or a Welsh kind of. But that's the only one I could sort of detect. And even then, very little.
Well, it's kind of like your accent, right? Osaka is the equivalent of your accent. Your accent is like, oh, it's the friendly, nice northern voice. Oh, yes. Osaka's kind of like that a bit. It's sort of friendly, it's funny, it's quirky, it's lively. And that's why, amongst other reasons, folks from Osaka make good comedians on Japanese TV, right?
I see, right.
That and their outspoken attitude, like those of the North, not in South England, where a refined people.
Refined.
No exaggeration.
Wouldn't say boo to a bear.
Exactly. Not when you got firecrackers, anyway. LA Chris B, my cousin and I have a bucket list trip to Japan. And we'll be staying for 2 weeks in Tokyo and Osaka with a day trip to Kobe in November. I sneeze a lot due to dust and sensitivity. Will this get me weird glances on busy, quiet trains? Also, is it necessary to carry a handkerchief or small towel? We've heard that it's rare in Japan to have paper towels or hand-drying equipment. All the best. Have a great trip, Hondo, in Missouri. That's an interesting question. I don't think we've ever had that before. I know if you sneeze, it's fine. Don't worry about it. I will say, I was on a plane coming back from, where was it? Shikoku, a couple of months ago, and there was a guy 3 rows in front of me, and he sneezed at least 50 times, like in a row.
Yeah.
And I, to the point, I felt bad for him, but yeah, it was really weird. He would sneeze, there would be a 10-second pause, then he would sneeze again, and this happened at least 50 times.
Well, they say 7's an orgasm. They say 7's an orgasm.
He certainly wasn't. I was kind of like found this funny. It felt like a comedy sketch or something.
Yeah.
And I was like looking around, like, this isn't normal. Has everybody noticed this? But on Japanese planes, everybody's asleep. Every fucking domestic flight, everyone hits the chair and falls asleep. And I'm a nervous flyer, so I'm sort of pick up on any movement or anything happening. And in this case, it was Sneezy McSneeze going at it 50 times.
The pressure up there does bung up my nose terribly. I don't know if it's the dust.
Me too.
They can't really sort of get it out, and also the air pressure as well really affects my asthma and my nose as well. So it's a different world up in the clouds, Chris. Different world. Air allergies.
You have to wonder if you sneeze, 50 times, does that make the air more humid? Because you're spraying moisture into the air.
I guess so. Yeah, you're like a one-man sort of not atomizer, but like
one-man
those
humidifier.
kind of like one-man humidifier, but with snot.
I mean, I was lucky. I was sitting quite far from him, but to sit near him, endure the noise and the spray, wouldn't have been so fun.
Especially because when I became a dad, I automatically had bestowed upon me by the nasal gods. Excuse me, get emotional thinking about it. I got bestowed upon me by the nasal gods a very loud sneeze. So if I ever sneeze, it is astonishingly loud because I'm a dad now. And that's what dads do. We have offcuts of wood in the shed, and we sneeze very loud, needlessly loud.
I don't think I've ever heard you sneeze. Thankfully,
you are gonna. It will scare a bear off. I tell you what. Should have had me. Should have had me on a Nakasendo.
We don't need birthday treats. Yeah. We don't need party poppers. I will say, I mean, with the question about handkerchiefs, I don't really like handkerchiefs. There's something quite disgusting about blowing into a thing and then just putting it in your pocket. Right? I never quite got that. You're right. A lot of Japanese restrooms, weirdly, don't have hand dryers and don't have towels. I'd say it's sort of 50-50. I'm not sure why that is, but that's where your hair comes in. So you wash your hands and then use your hair. That's what I do anyway. Otherwise, it's like your hands are all wet. It's a bit weird. I'll give you that. And Terry from Bedford says, "Hello, Chris and Pete. My partner and I are looking to visit Japan next February to celebrate our 10th anniversary." Oh, wonderful. We've been to Japan twice. Both times being September, October, and travelling the usual areas such as Tokyo, Kyoto, and Osaka, and Hiroshima, and Fukuoka. However, this time, we want to visit the north, such as Yamagata, up to Sapporo. We want to try and get away from visiting just the big cities and try and visit some onsen towns along the way. How would you recommend travelling around the north of Japan in the snowy winter months? Is public transport good enough to get from A to B? Are there cars and roads clear? Are the cars and roads clear and accessible enough to drive for a Brit who has some experience driving in snow? And second question, is there anywhere you would recommend in the north of Japan, or anywhere in Japan for that matter, worth visiting in February? All the best, Terry. I'd say there are lots of local trains in North Japan, but look, I've spent the last 10 years renting cars and driving around, and I like having the freedom to sort of go where I want to go. So I'd say just, if you can drive, do it. Rent a car. Trust me on this, it's going to be good. And the roads are very much clear of snow. You're going to be fine there in that regard. As to where to go, I don't know, really.
Start driving. Get yourself a car. Get yourself a car at Sapporo Airport and just get out there. When you hire a car in certain regions, when you hire a car, do they put snow tires on it and chains and stuff?
Do
they automatically do that for you? Right. Okay.
All cars in North Japan. It's really interesting. We look at a map of Japan in winter at the car rental places. You can see on the sort of west coast and the north, they all have snow tires, whereas places like Shikoku, Osaka, Tokyo don't have snow tires because it snows like once here every year. So yeah, if you're up there and you rent a car, you're all good to go, man. As to where to go, don't know. Go and watch one of the 500 videos I've made on the subject. There's so many places. I won't sit here and list them off.
Wait until the book comes out. Read the book.
Wait until the next book.
Read the second book, for crying out loud.
But yeah, I'm trying to think of a hot spring off the top of my head that's good, and I can't. So, but maybe Noboribetsu in Hokkaido is very nice in winter with the steam rising up off the ground in the snow. It's wonderful, wonderful stuff. Hell's Valley, beautiful place. Keep the stories, questions, comments coming in to rebornjapanpodcast@gmail.com. We'll be back later in the week, guys, to do all over again. As for me, I'm going to go and drink some water before my voice implodes. But for now, guys, have a good one. See you right back here, do all over again on the Abroad in Japan podcast. Bye for now.
Goodbye.